Directors, welcome. I am Jason Kadow, Habitat's Board Chair. Thank you all so much for joining me for this evening for Habitat's Open House Celebration. I'd like to personally thank all of our sponsors that have made this building possible for us. We sincerely appreciate your contributions. Since the beginning, Habitat for Humanity has always been about people, partner families who need to have a hand up, and donors and volunteers who are willing to give a hand up as well. Many of those same people who are here with us tonight. Whether you are an expert with power tools, that's not me, serve on the committee, or support our work with an annual gift, we are happy to have you here. Now I'd like you to introduce to someone who will share the importance of our volunteers. A longtime volunteer himself, Dick Koege.
This should be Marzo Bliss, but he left us here a year or so ago. He worked as a volunteer at Habitat until he was in his 97th year. And we would like to kind of promote the rumor that working for Habitat prolongs your life. or at least makes life feel longer. However you look at that. But there are many people here who should be giving this talk. The Tricles are here, and I'm just going to start by saying that Habitat's origin really was in the Oregon, Brooklyn area when the Tricles and others, representing about 6 different churches and a number of civic organizations, got together. And these were a group of people who were socially oriented and hardworking and kind of gutsy, not afraid to try something. And in order to become a Habitat chapter, there's a few things that have to happen. You have to affiliate with the national, and having done that, then you have to raise some funds. You have to find a building site and a building plan and a family, and have to recruit volunteers. So there's lots of things that have to happen when you're doing that for the first time. It's not so obvious. So that took a lot of hard work and bravery on their part. And my only claim to fame was that I worked at the second Habitat house, which was in Monticello. The first one was in Brooklyn. And both of these houses subsequently have been paid off. And so they've come the full cycle. And as I've mentioned earlier, my first day as a Habitat volunteer was with Phil Brown and others putting concrete forms in a very muddy hole, and so it was not your ideal volunteer experience, but Habitat along the way has learned which things make good volunteer experiences and which things that you probably don't want volunteers to do, or they maybe have a hard time doing. But after the Brooklyn and the Monticello house, which was certainly the Oregon group, things kind of moved toward Madison or around Dane County generally. And there were a lot of fill-in houses, not so many each year, a couple of houses per year. And it was sort of a Saturday activity, and but it picked up momentum. And let's see, according to my notes, by 94, 95, the 10th house had been built. So that was a number of years to get the first 10 houses. And about that time, the Eric Circle property was purchased, and that was nine buildings and a little over 20 units. And so at that time, the scale of work picked up quite a bit, and instead of being just a Saturday thing, it got to be numerous days a week, and more volunteers, more supervisors, and everything was still all on a voluntary basis and in the field and in the office because of the scale. And that was a project that took a very bad neighborhood, crime-ridden, drug-ridden neighborhood, and the city knew something had to be done, and adjacent property owners likewise knew that something had to be done. So Habitat was the group that did it and turned those from a terribly nasty situation into an excellent community. And having done that, then the board, ever vigilant for possibilities, looked at the what now became the Twin Oaks area. It was about a 40-acre piece of farmland just at the southern tip of Madison and abutting McFarland. And so that was a big bite to, or a big piece to bite off. And so Habitat did that. They were able to get a bank loan, and they put in the infrastructure, and that location had about 140 building sites, of which Habitat then built 50, and the others were sold to pay for some of the infrastructure work. And that went on. So by about 2005, that was called the 100th house. Now you can argue whether it was 99 or 101 or whatever, but it was called the 100th house. And so that was a big landmark, and that was finished off. And from there on, Habitat went on and worked in a number of other locations, including Sun Prairie and Northport and the Oregon, Stoughton, so forth and so on. So it spread out again and became really Habitat of Dane County. And I think I probably have more than used up my time, so that just gives you a brief rundown of how it started and how it built in scope and size. And there are others here who were present and can give you the real good, accurate information. And I'm surprised somebody in the audience didn't jump up and say, hey, that's wrong. They were polite enough not to do that. So anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Dick. This building would not have been possible without the generous support of our sponsors. And I'd like to recognize a couple of them now and have them come up here. And a huge thank you to Key Architecture,
Sarah and Dave. So Key stepped up and they did all the architectural work to redesign. This total building was gutted. So this is all, it was just 4 square walls. And Sarah did a lot of the work, and Dave is the one who stepped up and said, we will do this. So thank you, Key Architecture. Much appreciated, thank you.
Thank you. Dane County Credit Union.
Is anybody here from Dane County Credit Union, Josh? Okay, just a quick note. Dane County Credit Union was the first one to step up and say, we will buy your 0% mortgages because, as you know, they're declining in value, right? And give you the cash. So we needed that to actually buy the building in the first place. So we traded mortgages for a building, which, as you know, a building appreciates, mortgages depreciate at 0%. So it was a good swap on our balance sheet, and Dane County Credit Union made that possible.
We have NSI, a division of West Bend Mutual.
And Corey and Ray Lynn, do you want to present that? Is anybody here from NSI? Or do you want to accept it on their behalf?
Atmosphere.
Okay.
Oh, NSI. There you go. You can do
Here we go.
NSI
So
too.
on behalf of NSI, Corey and Ray Lynn from Atmosphere helped bring this donation in. They're all the cubbies and chairs, everything you see on that open space. NSI worked with Atmosphere to get that donation to us. They're 4 years old and they look brand new. So nothing was purchased for furniture-wise for this building, and a lot of thanks to these ladies and their organization for helping us.
And then Atmosphere Commercial Interiors.
So again, if one of you or both of you want to come up. So Deb Walton is on our board, and she personally sourced except for the tables in the break room that came from the old office. Deb went out and badgered and coerced and got everything in this whole building donated practically. So it's just been an awesome, and it saved us all those expenses. So please share that with Deb and thank her for it. She couldn't make it tonight.
Smiles. Thank you.
All right, please let them give a round of applause again for all of the creative and sponsoring for this amazing space. Now I'd like to introduce someone many of you know. She's the CEO of Habitat and the leader and who has the vision of this organization, Valerie Johnson-Renk.
Thank you, Jason. So thank you for being here to support Habitat. And more important, we love having a beautiful building, but what we really love is the efficiency. I noticed it myself. I actually couldn't be here the morning of the big move. Jeff Woodrow did the heavy lifting on marshaling that. So Friday afternoon, I unloaded just my personal little office over on Phoebe Lane, and it took me about an hour. And I had it unloaded over here in about 10 minutes. We weren't dragging down a long driveway, and we weren't going up 3 floors. It was awesome. So, it's just been, we can see each other, we can communicate. We don't have 8 bathrooms. We have more than 4 parking stalls. It's just so much more efficient. So thank you to everybody for making it possible. So if you look around at the walls here, but all around the entire office, you can really see the 30 years of history. Families, volunteers, supporters, donors, the staff members. It's really taken a village to get this all done. In fact, you can see some people, Candy, Ron Conkle. It's just awesome to see so many of you right here today. We appreciate that. And hopefully you'll all get to see the next 30 years go forward and the more wonderful things that we're going to do. If you haven't already, on your way out, I would love to have everybody sign the guest book. Make sure that we stay in contact, that we've got your updated email. And if you haven't been to one of our monthly Home at Last tours, we used to call them Dream Tours. It's a 1-hour tour here over lunch where you get to hear about what we're doing now and you get to hear a current homeowner talk about their journey as a homeowner. It's a wonderful thing. So check the box on the guest book and we'll send you information to make sure you get invited to one of those tours. They're really wonderful. This year, we're going to be really focusing on awareness of deficit housing, which is not only hurting our community, of course, but the country and the world. Right now in Dane County, 1 out of 8 people live in poverty, and that's 16% of all children. Join us. Use your voice to make a difference. Your voice is what makes Habitat strong. We want our families to achieve the strength, stability, and self-reliance that a home brings the family and the community. So again, thank you for all of your work. Thank you for joining us and representing the heart, soul, and the muscle behind the mission. Make sure you eat those treats or I'm going to have to be eating them the next week. And sign the book to stay connected. And make sure you check out the list. There's so many people who donated. We couldn't mention everybody, but Sue, please check out the list on your way out of the partial list. Thank you again.